Hey everybody, I am Dr. Jacob Lauritsen. I'm an English professor here on campus. I'm also part of the AI Learning and Teaching Task Force. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about academic integrity and what that has to do with using AI here on campus. Now, AI is not new. AI has been around for a very long time. But with the start of generative AI being something that was so powerful and so accessible, that it definitely became something that we at the college had to pay attention to. So we got together, we've looked at the research, we've talked about it, and we continue to talk about it. And this is kind of how we feel about it. We feel that this is an important thing for our students to be aware of and to learn about, but that there's a right time and a place for it. So I want to read the academic integrity policy that's in the EAC catalog and talk about what this means when it comes to using AI in the classroom. All right, so if you look at our current catalog, this is on page 42 that you can see this. The academic integrity policy has to do with, it says things like avoid plagiarism and other forms of academic misconduct. If you look under plagiarism, it says plagiarism means presenting someone else's ideas or words as one's own. Plagiarism may involve some degree of intent or may be the result of carelessness or ignorance or acceptable forms of citation. So sometimes we plagiarize on accident, and sometimes we do it on purpose. Copying without citation, the most serious form of plagiarism, involves copying part or all of a paper from the internet, book, magazine, or another source without indicating what the work came from. Copying from an external source and citing the source, but failing to show that how to cite that source correctly. So we looked at our current policy and then we looked at AI to see is it already covered. And basically what our policy says is if you're using someone else's work and you're turning it in as your own, that is against our academic integrity policy. If you are using someone else's work and you're not giving credit for it, meaning it's not being cited correctly, that's also against our academic policy. Now, what's that have to do with AI? Well, if you're using AI to help you write an assignment or to do some other form of work for you, at the very least, it should be cited. And if you're not cited, then you're probably making a couple mistakes there. We also understand that there's a time and a place when using AI is going to be appropriate. So what we've decided is that it's going to be up to teachers how they're going to accept it or not accept it. We don't have one policy that says yes or no when it comes to AI. It's up to teachers. And so teachers can choose on a class basis or even on an individual assignment basis what's appropriate for their instruction. So we've provided them with some direction on how to do this. We continue to train your teachers on what's going on with AI, and we also give them some tools. Some teachers may choose to use these tools, some may not. But what's important for you as a student to know is if you're going to use any form of AI, it's important that you know what is the teacher okay with in the classroom, what's acceptable, and if it is acceptable, how do I identify that I've used AI? And so it's a conversation you need to have with your teacher. Is this okay? Is this not okay? For me, example, I teach English. I'm totally okay with AI in some circumstances, but I definitely want all writing to be done by the student. So it's important that we understand that line. And that line is going to be different from subject to subject. There's a lot of tools that can really speed up work. It can solve a math problem for you. It can provide you with information very quickly. It can help you to do something in a forum post. But if your teacher has not expressly stated that that is an acceptable use of AI, don't assume that it's okay. Check with your teacher to make sure it's okay. Understand what their policy is in their classroom so that you never run into trouble and that we're only using AI in a way that is conducive to you learning the content of that course.